setting time setting time aside for creativity allows for more creativity.
I have returned to the joy of drawing, which is priceless.
And I remember the first few times that I attended Let's Create Tuesdays, I felt like a fraud because I thought, well, these people are creatives. They create. And who am I to say that I create? I mean, really, am I? But you kept saying everyone is welcome and we're all creative. And that began, like sinking in.
When I sit down, like I wrote last night, and I wrote I don't know if the night before, because I remember, oh yeah, that's the story ideas now are coming forward because that is like priming the engine, it's priming the engine, and then that engine starts to run more smoothly and more regularly, and you're like, oh yeah. So it really keeps me coming back to the, to my projects.
My artwork, it's easy to get shoved kind of back on my desk and shoved and then eventually forgotten. With Tuesday, it gives me the structure to pull that forward again and put it right back on the top of the pile.
Nice.
And it keeps me remembering.
What's interesting about this is that there are people who are clearly accomplished artists and writers, and then there are people like me who have never produced anything that other people have seen or read or, except in like high school art class or something like that. So, and it's not intimidating for me, or presumably for those people who are not doing it in any sort of professional capacity. They really are just being creative. And so, like in the breakout session last week, I was with, I can't remember his name now, but he made the Lego.
I was just thinking about the Legos, right? And that dude was like so full of happiness and joy.
Absolutely. He was having such a good time.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Coming back on Tuesday nights always gives me a set point for the week that reminds me and encourages me, that lets me continue that on during the week. And if I didn't have that set point, I don't think it would be, I just can't do it without the set point. The set point is valuable. Getting together with other people is valuable. Being able to work on whatever I'm working on is freeing, but doing it with other people is super valuable.
Want to know, why do you participate in Let's Create Tuesday? What's in it for you?
Well, I'd like to make a big newsflash type announcement. I am not going to live forever. Business and healthcare. I've studied hospice, palliative care, end-of-life care, all that fun stuff. I realize I'm not going to live forever, but I would be really pissed off if I died today and had not really expressed the creative things I want to get to, like my poetry or my artwork. That's what is motivating me to join Let's Create Tuesday. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And wow, that, tell you the truth, I thought it was going to be much lighter than that, but that's totally makes sense. And there's one other person that I've engaged in more conversations that she's totally there too. She just retired, and she's had this project going on like inside of her for like 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't care if I get anything else done in my life, but man, this one is really, really, really means a lot to her. And she said, I will be disappointed if I don't get this one done. So that's what I'm hearing. Is that what's going on for you?
It's true. It's like I need a catalyst. I need somebody to nudge me, push me, and support me. I need the environment. I need the catalyst. I need a schedule. I do great marketing, creative, fun stuff in my job all day, but it's not the same as my specific heartfelt creative work.
Right.
And I always end up putting my real heartfelt work at the end of the day, and then I'm too tired, or I don't get to it. I don't have a nice, quiet place to go do it. So you've inspired me to say, set up the environment. It's like plan for success. If it isn't on the calendar, I'm not going to do it.
I really like your lesson.
Mm-hmm.
I always want it to go longer.
For one reason or another, this book writing has been challenging for me, but it's moving forward now because I got stuck, but then I received clarity because the first few times when I showed up in your space, and it became my space. Does that make sense? When it became my space, I owned it. And so when I owned it, I take responsibility and accountability for that, right? So it becomes more important to me to show up. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, you're not doing it for me, you're doing it for you.
exactly. Like I show up for myself because I never written a book before. Right. And so I do appreciate completely the space that you created for us. At first it didn't sound like it would be something that would resonate, but then I showed up just to find out of curiosity, right?
Right.
And then when I did it like the first 3 times, and I'm like, oh my God, wow, I'm just, going with the flow and really making use of that time. Yeah, I got a taste for what I can do now for myself, right? And so I started enjoying it, and then now I'm in this consistent process of
Yes, you're doing it.
yes, I'm doing it, right? You created that space for us first, and then I was like, okay, and then I'm like, oh my God, it works, and I'm actually doing that.
The ongoing theme throughout all of the lessons is stop getting in your own way. Teaching people how to stop getting in their own way. Stop being an obstacle to learning how to be creative or being creative, just being creative.
I grew up in a family where creativity and artistry was not of high value. We were all scientists, and there wasn't really room for ambiguity, let's just say. When you talk about the importance of creativity, and that it's almost essential, or it is essential.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah.
We know the downward spiral. Why not go up?
We've all done that's that's why I like working with adults so much, because we've all done the downward spiral enough that we're really clear. We're really clear. One more Netflix show or one more cookie or one more whatever is really just not going to do it because we've done enough, which is great in a way, because we've hit that brick wall and we're like, all right, what's the more? And I know you said, and I agree, there are many possibilities for more, but one that I found really, really works well is tapping into the creativity, because the overflow then is, then I start redefining myself as a creator, right? I go from consuming to creating, which then if I can create this and I have that experience over and over again, and I connect with other people and I connect, then all of a sudden when I have a challenge in my life, I'll create my way out of it. When I have an opportunity, I'll create my way into it. But because of that core belief of I'm a creator.
More about that process of getting into that creative mind, and also that process of like being able to jumpstart yourself, being able to start something, being able to take that action, and releasing that resistance that comes around perfection.
In my daily life, okay, going away on a trip tomorrow, I got to clean the bathroom, and I just ran like 17 errands, and I went to 5 stores, and I got to go shopping, and I got to make dinner, and I start to feel untethered. Like, who am I? I'm such a nobody. I do busy work, know? And then you sit down and you draw something or you write something, and you're getting closer to your true identity, to your id, to it connects you to you.
Yes, I love that. That was I was waiting to see what word you're going to choose, but I love that, the true identity. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
I would say that's, and then you could also say true identity, my heart, my soul, my purpose.
Taking the time out has completely ruined my marriage. In fact, I'm not even married anymore. Thanks, John. I appreciate that.
He wasn't married before. It's just to be very clear.
But for me, it's like discipline.
Oh, I'm all right with that, but go ahead. Tell me about discipline. How's Let's Create Tuesday helping you with discipline?
Well, before Let's Create Tuesday, I wasn't doing anything. I was just kind of, yes, I started this memoir and whatnot, but I never felt, just setting aside time to work on it is just something I didn't do.
And I love hearing what people say, and you get that going, because you'll just put things out there and make jokes and be honest and real, and then that encourages other people to do that?
Because of your coaching, I am drawing more and I am writing more in between the creative Tuesdays. Yes.
And is that different than before?
Yes. Yes. That is different than before. And I'm thinking more about it. I'm thinking more, I'm dreaming more, I'm conjuring more, and it's becoming more of a focal point of my life.
And are you enjoying that? Or how would you, if you had to put a feeling or emotion to that, is that a good thing or a bad thing or what?
Okay. It's vital to my happiness. Being creative is vital to my happiness.
So I do love, as we were talking about, it's like, yeah, creator feels good because, again, as I claim that, I too feel more, that's what I was describing is happening in my business. It's like I feel more, feel more empowered to like,
yes,
like I don't have to do this a certain way. It's I'm creating it, so I get to decide versus like I have to follow certain rules. You know, like it has been very free, especially as an entrepreneur. It's like it's been a lifesaver actually.
I get a runner's high.
Yes.
So if that's the feeling you're talking about that I might want to keep coming back to get more of, right?
Yes.
When you say there's a different thing that will motivate you.
That's exactly
more
it.
Intrinsic.
And there's two parts of it, is having that experience, tapping into that runner's high, the creative high, right? And then quite honestly, the second part, Deegan, is are you okay with that? Because some people aren't okay with feeling a certain level of happiness.
Okay.
Because the situation of the world, their parents never felt happy, their spouse isn't happy, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop if I'm happy because of how I was raised. I mean, there's a lot. So the beautiful thing about Let's Create Tuesday is we get to tap into a little bit of creativity. We get to feel good, ideally, if we're creating in a place of wonder and adventure. And then another week goes by and nothing terrible happens. The world doesn't end, right? My family doesn't blow up. And then we do it again and again. And so as people go through each week over and over again and have that experience over and over again, then that starts becoming normal. Of feeling that good. And then at some point, it happened with me with writing Space Spiders on prom day, all of a sudden it just made sense to do some writing in the evening, even if I wrote in the morning, just because I like it and it feels great.
So coming to the Tuesday nights, I feel less isolated. And not just less isolated, because I can do that in other ways, but with other creative people.
Oh, right.
Doing different creative things. So it's interesting that the small group, like when we break into small groups, to find out what someone else is doing and how they're processing their creativity has been really fun.
Especially when they talk about their struggles. It's like, oh, wow. I just thought this stuff flowed like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm like you, I guess. So that's
right.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, there's so much to be said about normalizing the whole journey, really, which then allows me to then not be judgmental. And then once I'm stopped being judgmental, then I still may not be totally in the flow, but at least I'm not heaping out a bunch of judgment, which is just going to even slow me down even more, or not even get me to the starting line.
In the small groups, I find that I'm much more open. I guess there's a part of me that wonders whether 2, 3, or 4 people in the larger group are judging me at this moment, and when I see the faces of
and just for everyone listening, just to answer that real quick, they're not judging you, right? You've never
I know, but that's
right. That's not here.
Something in my mind there.
I could add something on the breakout room experience. What I love about it is it's such a space where everybody can be seen and heard in whatever way they choose. Like sometimes people will talk about what they're actually working on, or they'll talk about the process around it. So like you don't have to ever feel on the spot. You don't have to. You can honor yourself where you are, and but that experience of being seen and being heard and feeling supported, is just so important.
How were you feeling before you tapped into Let's Create Tuesday?
Well, I was setting an intention to show up, and I was going to show up 2 hours a day. It was this goal, and it was very structured, and I was like not on board with that. I could not get myself to do it, and if I did, I didn't enjoy it. I mean, I could for a while, but it was like it was too serious for the creativity, the joyful creativity that wants to come through. What this structure I was trying to set up, and so ever since we connected and I started doing Tuesdays, I have finding the words. I found it easier to show up and just go, gee, what's present now on this project? Which project should I work on? What would be fun today? And put on some music and enjoy it, and then listen and follow the creative leading of the project, rather than, okay, we have a project now, we have to do this by tomorrow. Oh dear.
Right.
So now I'm showing up in a different way, and if I don't show up, I'm making that okay, that something else seemed to be more important that day. But it is a more graceful, joyful interaction. The other thing is I'm getting behind on overeating a little bit. I think I'm saving grocery money.
That's awesome.
I also am getting behind on my reading, which I love to read, and I love to read sci-fi, and I read your book. But I'm finding that the books are lasting longer because I'm not escaping to them.
Wow. So wow, that's excellent. And you're not getting around to snacking as much, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
too.
both. And TV too. I actually sit down, but I'm like, I'm just not as interested.
Right. Because you're tapping, if I can just link the two, because you're tapping more into your creativity, or how would you say that?
I've been tracking. I'm showing up much more often during the week, and I'm more focused in what I'm showing up for, because I feel like very gradually I'm lining up with what is joyful about the creativity and what my heart really wants.
You might be a Rembrandt and not know it, or you may be Steven Spielberg's doppelganger and not know it if you don't try. And the worst thing about failure, that I don't really believe in failure anymore, is that you'll have a good lesson, or you might find your passion.
Someone was thinking about participating in Let's Create Tuesday, but was a little scared or not sure. What might you say to them?
Oh, well, it's a super friendly group. It's easy. You just get on Zoom. John's really welcoming, and he has always like a little lesson or, suggestion or coaching tip for the week. And then folks are just really easygoing. Everyone's just off doing their own thing. They come back, connect, and they have some things to share, which is really fun.
She's a very dear friend, and she told me about it. And again, I made the judgment of, oh boy, this is going to be one of these woo-woo things. But all of her woo-woo things I love. But what's the harm?
Yeah.
I'll do it once or twice, and if I don't like it, then I don't do it anymore. But it would be sad to have something wonderful like this and not at least try it.
Right. Excellent. I love that. That's beautiful. Give it a try. Give it a whirl. Check it. Yep. Lean into it. There's all those things they say in California. Lean into it.
Yeah. Woo!
Thank you, Patty. That was really great.
Thank you, John. In Oklahoma, we say bless your heart. We don't say
Oh,
lean into it. We're
like
not
that.
leaners into it. We're not like that. We're more like bless your heart.
If anyone's thinking about doing Let's Create Tuesday, but is a little nervous or scared, what might you say to them?
Do it anyway. Get off your butt. Commit to yourself. It isn't about committing money or to John or anybody else. It's about what are you going to commit to yourself to do to express that creativity that's inside of you, that needs a place to go, that needs a place to be seen or heard or experienced? You know, why not? And guess what? It's all fun.
Yeah.
How can you do this wrong?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to Tuesday. I'm very excited about it.
Excellent. Excellent. It'll be great to have you back and back and back and back.